be okay.
Don't mess with it.
You don't want to mess with it right now while we're recording?
No, because if you mess with it, that's when it's going to get fucked up.
Yeah, all right.
And we'll never get it back.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't abolish the podcast on episode 300.
Just like my erection.
Sean, did you get a delivery to your house tonight?
No. Is it Dick? No, I haven't gotten anything, I don't think.
You're supposed to get an Oreo Blizzard in celebration of our 300th episode. But
Are you serious?
Fucked up.
Oh, no.
Did they say if they delivered? Did you
Well, it's on Stacy's phone. She sent me a thing saying that it was going to be.
Let me go see if there's an Oreo Blizzard just melting on my fucking porch. It's like 80 degrees here.
When was it supposed to get there?
I set it for 7, and she sent me a text saying that
They're running behind.
said it was running behind till like 7:30.
Dude, they left an Oreo Blizzard on your stoop without knocking. That's alpha.
I don't know. Hang on. There's somebody in the front yard right now.
Oh, shit.
Oh, maybe it is there.
Hang on a second. Like, literally, like, they're... Oh, no, they're... Somebody seems to be confused.
Are they eating a Blizzard?
No, I don't know.
Follow the instructions correctly. They're going to give you a sappy message, too.
Oh, you gave them instructions to, like... That's awesome. Hell yeah.
That's so
yeah, I'm Sean. Yeah, it's from Stacy. Hang on one second. Thank you.
Well done, Alec. Well done.
Oh,
Yeah.
I might have to keep this in.
You
All
gotta
right,
keep
thank
it.
you.
I was just trying to look. I couldn't see no number.
Yeah, no, we're doing a podcast. Say hello.
Hi.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right,
Enjoy.
thank you.
That's
Happy holidays.
Oh, Alex. Oh.
Oh, you guys are the best.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
Is it melted?
No, she was literally driving up. Like,
How?
Good timing.
That's awesome.
yeah, it's just weird how that worked out. Just like I just happened to call like a second before Gogs texted me that you guys were ready.
That's so funny.
Wow.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
with that,
Hell yeah. All right, start the show, guys.
welcome to Movie the Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. A very special 300th episode of
Christ.
Movie the Podcast. We were before we got started. Alec and I were talking. We said an average runtime of 100 minutes per movie, 30,000 minutes, 500 hours of film watched.
We definitely
and critique.
And I'd say that the average of our movies is definitely way over that because I feel like I think in general we watch longer movies, even though we all dread it.
Yeah.
Also, for all of you 3 people that were really excited for us to watch Final Destination 3, sorry.
That'll be next week.
Yeah, we didn't watch that.
But did I say 90 minutes or 100 minutes per thing? Doesn't matter.
90.
Well, then that math won't check out. So for you math nerds at home, I meant 100. Doesn't matter.
We've done 300 episodes of this fucking show, guys. It's insane.
And think about all the movies we watched privately. Like, think about just the total number of movies that have been watched.
And the times I've forced myself to watch movies just to have something to talk about.
Also, that's 300 movies just under the Movie the Podcast moniker. Sean and I did some movies before that was even like a name. So it's crazy.
That's fucking tremendous.
That's awesome.
We just got the picture of the Blizzard.
Did she give you the message she was supposed to give you? Sean?
Yeah, sorry, I was taking a picture of my Blizzard. What was the question?
Did the delivery person give you the message she was supposed to give you? Did she?
No, but she was
on the list?
incredibly foreign. So I don't know if it got lost
She
in
was just supposed
translation.
to say "Happy 300th, love Alex, Sean, or Alec, Gogs, and TJ."
No, I don't know if you could hear her, but I got out in the driveway and she's like, "Stacy!" I was like, "Oh no."
Nope.
But
Yeah, I'm Stacy.
Yeah.
Give me my milkshake.
Yeah.
So it's our 300th episode. Alec had the forethought since Sean couldn't be here. He sent Sean a tasty treat via DoorDash or something.
Grubhub or something.
To have some delicious confection on our 300 episode.
We had white trash chocolate cream pie,
Which is delicious.
but I wanted Sean to have something too.
Oh,
But
I know it probably goes against his new beliefs where he's a mega weasel.
Yeah.
this is the first dessert I've had in like a year.
Sean is the only member of the cast that looks like he could be in the movie 300.
That
right
is
now.
true. That is very
You know what'd
true.
be funny is if this like pushed me over the edge and I just got super fat all of a sudden.
You broke him.
Oh, you're like at the end of Dodgeball. What's his name?
Yeah.
Chuck Whiteman.
White, yeah.
Well, so
Fucking Chuck Norris.
after last week's episode, Alec was actually the one that was like, "Hey guys, next week is our 300th episode, so we should do something more thematic." So, since we are
It's crazy to think that like in a year and a couple like 2 months of doing the show from now, you could literally listen to one episode of this podcast every day for a year.
It's insane.
That's bonkers.
But like, what's more thematic than us doing a Zack Snyder movie? We've done every Zack Snyder movie.
Most.
We haven't done Sucker Punch, but I think that's the only one.
How have we not done
Army of Thieves?
I feel like he
Or
directed
The Legend of Ga'Hoole.
Yeah, we haven't done the Owl movie. We've talked about Sucker Punch so much on this show. I feel like
Sucker Punch is like the sword of Damocles for this podcast. It's just been looming over our heads for like 6 years.
We're due for it eventually.
Somebody will pick it for a birthday when they're mad at everybody else.
But anyway, we did 300. This is also, I just want to point out that every time, I don't know about every time, but I would say the majority of times that we've brought up Zack Snyder and we talk about how bad he is, it's always, well, except for 300. So for me, this was like, am I still going to like this movie after I watch it after this time?
Walked in dreading it.
Yes, absolutely. I walked in expecting to hate it.
It was the same feeling I had when we watched. Go ahead, Sean.
I feel like we had a different experience.
Yeah, I'm certain you did. Because I walked into this worried, like I was like, when we came back to The Crow after I hadn't seen it in maybe 8 years, I was like, oh, I still hope I like The Crow. Love The Crow. And shocker, 300? I had a good time.
I still think Crow City of Angels is like the gem of this podcast. Like Crow City of Angels was like one of the best movies that we watched on the show that everyone hates.
From a fucking turnaround perspective?
Everyone hates that movie and it's so good.
It really is.
But anyway, let's get into what we all watched this week. We'll go with Sean first.
I didn't watch shit. I'm too busy doing math and getting peeled.
Hell yeah. Why are you doing math?
School.
Oh,
nice. Yeah, I go to Purdue now. Like,
shit.
Boilermaker. I'm a boy, Mike Allstott.
Yeah, me and Drew Brees, except we have different opinions about black people.
Hell yeah.
How do you feel about
good.
Oh,
what's that?
Okay.
I'm pro. Big fan, especially the ladies. TJ, you always go last for whatever reason, so you go this time.
I only watched one thing this week. I watched Chinese Ghost Story on Amazon Prime. It's a late 80s Hong Kong movie produced by Sui Hark. I love it, but I want to take a brief moment to say that can we get a petition together for Amazon to stop uploading literally the worst uploads of these older movies? Like, this is worse than like a VHS transfer. This thing looks so bad on like that, you know, they list it as HD, but it looks like dog shit.
So and, do you like in a pie eating scene, do they switch it to those little like powdered sugar donuts?
You've seen the movie, I assume. I didn't know. It's a great movie. It's like kind of a horror movie, kind of a kung fu movie, kind of a comedy. It's brilliant. I love it. It also like has a lot of, I mean, we've talked about this a lot, but it has a lot of nostalgia for me because I got really into like Hong Kong movies when I was in like 6th grade, 7th grade. A lot of like martial arts movies, but like when you'd go to the comic book conventions, they would just be these like walls of bootlegs.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, what's Chinese Ghost Story? That sounds interesting.
It's wild shit you've never seen before.
Yeah, and I got like God of Gamblers, which is another Sui Hark movie, and Chinese Ghost Story. And like these movies are great, and they're so creative and different. This movie is only like 86 minutes long, but it tells this really interesting story. I highly recommend it. I'm just really disappointed by the shitty transfer that's on Prime. Like, it looks so bad. Like,
do you think that there's a good transfer somewhere? Like, do you think they did like a restoration?
Blu-ray. I'm sorry. I think there is a good Blu-ray out there of this movie. I don't own it, but I think there is one out there. But Chinese Ghost Story, highly recommended.
What's the gist? Is it your basic ghost story?
No, not at all. So basically, this takes place, and I don't know any of the Chinese like historical periods. I'm much more versed in the Japanese.
You play a lot of Dynasty Warriors to know which you're in. Okay,
it doesn't take place during the romance of the Three Kingdoms.
No, I played. Sean will appreciate this. I played all the Nobunaga's Revenge games, which were like Japanese history.
Yeah, and then tagging you up, the first video game I bought for PlayStation 2 was Kessen, which was like a spiritual sequel to that game.
Yes. I mean, you want to talk to me about the Son Goku period of Japan? I'm all about it. I don't know much about Chinese history, but anyway, it's an old Chinese like folktale. This guy is a debt collector, which fuck him anyway because he's a debt collector. But basically, like so it didn't take place during Mao's China? No, he's forced to like go. He's looking for shelter. He's forced into this old temple, and he falls in love with this like spirit that's this hot chick ghost. And then he comes across these like ghost hunter like priest guys that are like kung fu artists. It's awesome. You gotta watch it. I don't want to give too much away because it's kind of layered, but like it's really good. And again, it's literally like 86 minutes long. It is over like it's by the snap of your fingers, it's over. But like there's a lot of it's the guy that did all the fight choreography is the Matrix guy. The guy Ying Wo Ping. So there's a lot of like wire fu stuff. There's a lot of cool like forced perspective shots. There's a lot of cool stop motion stuff. Like in a weird way, like there's a lot of like Sam Raimi in this movie because like there's actual like ghouls that live under the floorboards of the temple. Ooh. And they have like they look like ghouls. Well, they look like
higher ghouls.
Monsters. Like they're like very stop motiony kind of zombies. Like it's a cool ass movie and it's very different. I love it. They actually made an anime of it too, which is really good, but that isn't available on Prime. But I highly recommend it. It's very good. I just wish they would put a better version of it up so people could really enjoy it. Because I feel like if you're not like a diehard fan of this movie, you're gonna watch it and be like, "This looks like shit. Like this looks like a VHS tape. Why am I watching this?" But then again, kids nowadays, they actually buy VHS tapes, so maybe that's part of the aesthetic that they like.
From the 80s, from the 90s?
It's like 89, 87, something like that. It's like it's Hong Kong, so it's like before they switched back over to China. So it's like in that period. So it's like early 90s, late 80s, something like that.
English imperialism Hong Kong, not Chinese imperialism Hong Kong.
Well, no, like all the like when you refer to like Hong Kong cinema, like Chow Yun Fat stuff and like Hard Boiled and The Killer and stuff like that, that's a very specific. In most Jackie Chan movies, like contemporary Jackie Chan movies, I say contemporary, but they're fucking 30 years old now. Like those are the Hong Kong era, and that is specifically when Hong Kong was independent and not part of mainland China. Anyway, sorry. But I that's all I watched. I watched all of the new season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is really good. I highly recommend. But that's it. So, Alec.
I watched three things.
Three.
2 Christmas movies.
Hell yeah.
2 brand new Christmas movies. One is an Amazon original or a Netflix original. I think the other one, actually, they might both be Netflix. One's called Single All the Way.
That's my biography.
A gay man and his gay best friend go home for the holidays.
And Sean,
with the intention of pretending to be lovers, so his family will stop harassing him about finding the Mr. Right.
I sense a
so it's both weirdly progressive and weirdly regressive at the same time. Like we don't care if you're gay, but you got to couple up because it's weird if you don't.
Yeah. And they're interracial.
Oh,
it's like it's got everything.
It sounds like a movie written by a cereal commercial.
Yeah. It's okay.
Brought to you by the Biden administration.
The best parts of it, honestly, are Kathy Najimy is the full penetrative sex that they show on screen.
Okay, now you got me. I'm in.
Kathy Najimy is in it, and she's okay. Barry Bostwick is in it, and he needs to be in more stuff because he's still really funny.
Who's the Spin City guy?
He was the mayor from Spin City.
Oh,
yeah.
Who's Catherine?
She's the voice of Peggy Hill. She was the fat nun in Sister Act, but I don't think she's fat anymore, or she wasn't for a while.
She lost a bunch of weight. She was one of the sisters in Hocus Pocus.
Yep.
But the best part of the movie is Stifler's mom. I can't remember what's her name.
That chick that's in all the Christopher Guest movies too.
Yeah, I'm blanking on her name, but she's the best part of the movie. She's so fucking every scene she's in, she just steals.
She's also in Pootie Tang. What the hell is her name?
Yeah, I'm blanking on her name. I don't know why I can't think of it. I know
she played the lady with the big tits in every '90s movie.
Loved her in Pootie Tang. She was like weaponized in Pootie Tang.
Yeah.
Karen Black? Is that her name?
I don't think that's her name. Is
Karen Black?
Karen Black was like a singer.
Mr. Black.
I think.
Didn't she die from eating a ham sandwich?
No,
that's the lady from the Mamas.
That's Mama Cass.
Mama Cass.
The other Christmas movie I watched is called Loveheart.
Jennifer Coolidge.
That's it. Loveheart is about a woman who's having trouble finding love. So she finally connects with somebody across the country, goes across the country to surprise him right before Christmas and realize she was catfished, but then agrees to stay and be his fake girlfriend. So he'll set her up with the guy that he took the pictures from, who's like one of his friends from childhood.
Wow.
Like
a lot of deception.
I can't remember her name.
Jennifer Coolidge.
No. I told you
Karen Black
earlier.
Yeah, it was I'm just looking it up.
Mari.
Can't remember her name. Jimmy Yang is the male lead. And
Jimmy Wang Yang?
Nina
Dobrev is the female lead. That one was pretty funny. I actually enjoyed it a lot. They had really good chemistry between the two of them. I mean, for a stupid, like, slapdash Christmas movie, they threw together in probably 6 weeks to rush it out for Christmas time.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was better than most of the shitty, cheap Christmas movies they throw together. The last movie I watched, Stacy found this on, I don't know if you guys use Canopy at all.
Yeah.
It's the library.
I get pit beef from them all the time.
No, it's too closely related to books.
Yeah. It's the movie derivative of books. It's called In the Land of Owl Turds.
Okay.
It is a half-hour movie about this. It is absolutely ridiculous and insane. This guy, I'm pretty sure he wrote it, directed, produced, edited, starred in it.
Real Orson Welles.
Jackie Moon.
So he's playing himself. It's from like the 80s. It's shot on like, you can tell it's from the 80s. Everything looks awful and dated. This guy is like autistic, kind of, or whatever they would like pass for it back then, whatever they would have called it back then, spastic or something maybe.
Right.
Stupid.
Stupid. I mean, maybe he is like convinced he can't find love, and he keeps trying to find love. That's Herod Blank. He hooks up with this woman who comes back to his house. She can't stand his car because it's like full of like trinkets and things. But then he inexplicably gets to bang her and like it's clearly just a project for him to have all these women show their tits and like rub up on him
in a half an hour.
Yeah,
hell yeah,
three different women. I guess the third one doesn't actually.
That's one pair of tits every 10 minutes.
Love it.
So he goes out with the first girl, and she's all about him until she sees like his apartment, which is a shithole, and she leaves. So he runs off to the woods, paints himself green. Like it is like the definition of like an up your own ass art film.
It sounds amazing.
It is absurd.
It's not a comedy.
Like
Oh, it's a comedy, supposedly.
Okay.
According to the poster, it's a painful comedy.
I mean, that's a Baltimore artscape art car right
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. Yeah.
But it's only, I think it was like 27 minutes long or something like that. Like if you can find it, watch it. It's like it's worth it for the quick little watch. But
is it like that car that used to drive around like South Baltimore with all that like dolls stuck to it, like that kind of thing?
Kind of. It's like a Beetle, but like on one door it's got Bob Marley on it, and it's got like coconuts hanging from it and shit and all kinds. It's fucking
sweet,
wild.
merciful crap.
Does it say how long it is?
I can't find it. I'm looking.
Usually it does on IMDb on the front page. Oh well.
30 minutes. Yeah,
30 minutes.
1987.
Yeah, it's fucking wild.
Hell yeah.
We just kept looking at each other like, what the fuck?
Did she just rent this on name alone? Or did she hear about it somehow?
No. She was like flipping through. It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then when we saw it was only a half hour long, we was like, well, let's go watch this.
Hell yeah.
How could you not stop on
it
that
is
movie?
It is something else, let me tell you. But that's all I watched. Last episode of Hawkeye, her most recent one, came out. Still really good. 2 more episodes to go. I'm excited to see where it goes and where they finish up. Gorgeous.
So I watched a bunch of stuff.
Shit.
Some of it not to completion. So we'll start with the stuff I finish up. I started watching Pompoko, the Studio Ghibli movie about raccoons using their ball sacks to fight America, like humans, like colonizing.
I've never seen that one.
I got through halfway, then I fell asleep. It's bizarre. I'm gonna go back to it. I've been watching Dorohedoro on Netflix.
Yeah, I love that show.
It's an anime.
That's a show. It's not a movie.
It's a show, but it's batshit insane. I'll report that when I complete it. And then I watched 4 movies that I didn't have any repeats this week. Normally I go back to something comforting to settle my anxiety. So, but no, this time I watched The Harder They Fall, the original Netflix. They call it a revisionist Western because it's an all-black.
I've been meaning to watch it.
So
he didn't like it.
The cast is good.
Yeah, obviously he didn't like it. I can already tell.
No. The story isn't good. The story's not great. The cast is excellent. The acting, the guy who plays the main character, Jonathan Majors, the guy from he's Last Black Man in San Francisco. He played.
I haven't seen that.
He played.
Is he the guy that played
He's in the Lovecraft show, Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, and he's also the guy that plays Kang in the.
He'll be Kang the Conqueror.
Hell yeah, that guy's awesome.
Yeah, that guy's great.
He's
like that
a
actor.
fucking amazing in this movie. I want more westerns with him as the lead character. He's fucking the truth.
And Lakeith Stanfield's
Stanfield's amazing.
Idris Elba's
amazing.
Regina King,
Zazie Beetz.
How's she look? Regina King.
Good.
Yeah.
I thought you asked Zazie Beetz. I'm like, how?
No, I already know that, but Regina King, I wonder how she's holding up.
She seems like she's doing just fine.
Can you listen to her without hearing one of the voices from the Boondocks anymore, though? Like, every time I've heard her talk since then, all I hear is, like, one of those kids.
Well, she's doing a little bit of an accent in this one.
She was so good in Watchmen.
Yeah. She's... So the movie, like I said, the actors are cool. The action is excellent. It's like an exploitation movie.
Who directed it?
So the guy who directed this gentleman, the guy who directed also scored it, and he scored it at the same time. And I feel like he might have
John Carpenter.
Yeah, and it's like I think he's done a lot of music videos and stuff, but the story is not great, but the actors are excellent in it, and the settings. I think there's this they do a lot of fun stuff with color and. Like they go to rob a bank in the White Town because they refer to it as the White Town, and it's literally everything. The sand is white, the buildings are white, all the white people are wearing white. Then you go to the town where all the black people live, and it's all colorful and like fun and beautiful and like.
Oh, I don't hate that.
Yeah, that's
it was gorgeous. Like I give it a look. I didn't care for the story. The story was like kind of predictable and like they make moves that don't make any sense. But the action's a lot of fun, and this guy Jonathan Majors is fucking. Excellent.
So the guy that directed this movie is just named, and I already hate him because this is fucking obnoxious. His name is The Bullist. Yeah, that's his fucking name is The Bullist.
The Bullist, something like that. Yeah.
All right, I'm not watching this movie. His real name is Jameis Samuel, but I guess his stage name is The Bullist.
His nom de plume. Yes,
Dogs, on an exploitation scale from boss to posse, where does it land? Which
Sean?
Side?
Boss is what, Sean? What
was the Ving? What was the Ving Rhames movie?
Rosewood. That's not an exploitation movie, though.
No, you're right. This is more like this is just under posse.
So
Okay.
this guy also directed.
Or this is around posse levels.
So this guy directed a short. It's 51 minutes. He directed another Western that's called They Die by Dawn, which is another.
Don't hate that title.
Yeah, but it's only 51 minutes long, and then the rest of his credits look like Gog said, he does a lot of music stuff.
I
Do you
know
think this
what
is
the big deal.
it sounds-
Rosario Dawson, Giancarlo Esposito, Kelly Hugh,
God damn.
Michael Williams, Bokeem Woodbine.
That's a great guess. too.
That's got a hell of a cast too.
Is it? I bet you it's like an El Mariachi Desperado situation. I bet if you go back and watch that, it's almost the same movie.
The same movie.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, that's probably true.
What I'm saying, I just can't. So the guy Jonathan Major. I know we rattled off all of his other credentials, but he played. Oh Christ! Why now I can't think of his name.
Kang the Conqueror.
No, the actor. Oh shit! Who was one of the name the actors in the Five Bloods? The established actors.
I never watched it.
Okay,
Delroy Lindo.
Delroy Lindo. He played Delroy Lindo's son in the Five Bloods.
yeah.
And Delroy Lindo's in this movie, and he's great in it. And here's what's interesting about it. So the movie is set around a lot of black.
It sounds like he went to the good black acting house and was like, "Get me everyone," and they're like,
Yeah.
What do you mean everyone?"
Everyone.
This guy, the Bullist, is British. So he cut his teeth. He's a singer-songwriter. So he's a musician first, and then he became a director.
I think he scored this thing.
Yeah.
So and what's interesting is he took a lot of historical black cowboys and cow ladies and put them in this movie. They never interacted like this, but a lot of the characters are based on actual people from history.
Oh, it's kind of
Like Young Guns.
Oh, it's kind of like 300.
You know, Young Guns is the best analogy for this movie.
It's kind of like that scene in Marshall where like every historical black figure was in that one restaurant,
Yeah.
and they're like all talking to each other.
Yeah, but that was accurate.
Was it?
I think that might have been.
I still like that movie. Remember?
Yeah.
The rest of you didn't.
So the plot for They Die
really
by
like
Dawn. Let's see if this is the same.
Go.
4 outlaws with a bounty each on their heads set a date for a shootout in Oklahoma. The last man alive takes the collective bounty.
That
No.
sounds good.
That's a cool
No, but that
plot.
sounds awesome.
This is straight.
I need to watch
This
that.
is straight. You killed my dad. Revenge. And it's but the motivations for everybody doesn't make. It's just go give it a look. Thanks for bringing up Young Guns, Alex. When I watched, I was like, this feels like Young Guns.
Speaking of, this is totally derails everything, but they are working on a Young Guns sequel.
At this point,
For what?
for who?
Is it called Old Guns?
It needs to be called Old Guns. But yes, I have no idea. Like, why is it? First of all, I don't remember Young Guns 2, but I'm pretty sure Billy the Kid dies in the end of Young Guns 2.
I'm certain
he does not.
Oh,
He does not die at the end of Young Guns 2.
Oh.
At the end of Young Guns 2, he's a gray ass old man in like the 40s.
Oh, that's
was
right.
telling the whole
They said
story the
that.
whole
They
time.
said that. What's his name? The guy that kills him in the real life didn't kill him. It
Yeah,
was
Oh, Pat
Garrett.
Garrett.
Yeah.
Have you
So-
guys? I know TJ has, but have either of you two seen the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford?
I have not.
I've seen.
You
I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen parts of it.
I love.
Casey Affleck.
did you like the parts that you saw?
I remember liking them.
It's a little slow, but
It's
long,
really
isn't it?
fucking good though.
almost 3
Yeah.
hours
it is
long.
long.
Is that Brad Pitt and Casey Affleck?
Yeah.
And
I
also,
think
It's like
Sam
one of
Rockwell.
the best titles for a movie in the history.
Oh hell yeah! It's like
Well, he
that
made-
band, and you will know us by the trail of our dead or whatever the fuck. Like I don't know anything about the band, but I love the name.
Good band. Well, at least they used to be. Gogs, they directed that guy directed the movie Killing Me Softly, which I think you're.
Oh, I do like. Yeah, I like that
it's the
movie.
same director.
Yeah, I
Oh.
think they also released at the same time. They had a Sexy Sister film where it was Colin Farrell was playing Jesse James, but he also did karate for some reason.
Think about it.
I don't know that movie, but I need to watch it.
Karate Cowboyman. Actually, I was wrong. I rewatched one of these things. Anyway, keep going. I was
Keep
texting.
telling yourself to keep going.
Yeah, I
can do
texted
it.
Sean and I was telling the guys I might retroactively drop my score for draft day
Repo
down
Man?
a point.
Oh,
Well, no, because Repo Man also loses a point because I watched Moneyball. Moneyball it's very old. Everyone else has seen it, but me. I finally watched it. It's super fucking good. I was with it the entire time, and get me more Get me more front office procedurals, please and thank you.
Yeah, it's crazy how they make good movies out of those.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing. And the baseball's good in it.
Yeah, that scene where he's negotiating, I forget who he's negotiating for. And
With the Indians on the horn?
Yeah, they're like, what else? He's like, what else do we want? It's like, we want you to pay for our soda machine for the year.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Yeah.
I love it when
Players are tired of paying for their own sodas.
When Billy Bean and Ron Washington, who was like one of my all-time favorite managers because he got busted doing cocaine as an old man, but like they're there with Scott Hatterberg, and he's like, "Hey, playing first base isn't hard. Tell him, Wash." And he's like, "It is incredibly hard."
Yeah.
The only reason you love Ron Washington, he has the worst clap I've ever seen.
Well,
Man, he has got this weird, like, demonstrative, like, I just remember watching him in the World Series, and he had this, like, very strange clap that I could never get out of my
I also
mind.
love him because he managed the Rangers that time the Orioles beat them in that wild card game.
Yeah, you got to bring that up.
So
Still hurts.
So I do have some questions.
No, that's when the Orioles beat them in the wild card game.
Oh, yeah.
The first time they made the playoffs in forever.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're the old guys.
You're thinking of when the Orioles lost the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
That's when, when we were all.
Showalter said, "I have the best reliever in baseball.
Umbaldo Jimenez,
Let's not put him in the game."
You and I
Didn't
were
we-
at a bar when that
All
happened.
four of us were
Yeah,
there.
we're all there.
We're all
We're
at
at Buffalo
Vito's
Wild Wings. Yeah.
and all left very sad.
Well, that was also the game where they didn't someone throw a beer at who's the center fielder?
Adam Jones, yeah.
Yeah. No, was it Jones? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
So anyway, I love Moneyball, but the scene where they're sitting around the table and all the scouts are talking, are those all actual, like, this one guy you're saying, this guy Washington, was he actually he was actually a manager?
Ron Washington, yeah, he was the manager of the Rangers.
And a manager.
The guy that was actually in the movie, or the guy that he's
No.
okay, got it.
Those guys are all, I don't know who they were.
A bunch of old men talking about swings and good looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's like Draft Day had a bunch of like real people like scattered, like real NFL people like scattered in it. I don't think Moneyball was like that.
So the Bobby Kotick thing, I looked that up because I couldn't figure out why the hell he was in this movie. And apparently the director brought him the script. He's like, how would an owner react to this? He did a line read about it.
Oh,
like, no,
he needed to get in the mind of a rich asshole.
yeah. He's like,
Okay.
you know what? You're a perfect rich asshole. You do it. So he had Bobby Kotick though.
Well, did you explain to the people?
Oh, the good folks. So Bobby Kotick is the CEO of Activision Blizzard, who is embattled right now for having, jerk off parties in hotel rooms or something.
One of the things he's being yelled at about, yeah.
But
Yeah.
at first I thought I was like, does Bobby Kotick own the Oakland A's? Like I thought they had him on there because they actually owned them.
Probably could. Activision's
Yeah.
got a lot of money.
Yeah, then they got a $280 million tax rebate last year.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
So yeah, I love that. I watched a documentary called "A Shot in the Dark" about this.
It's about Ozzy Osbourne.
It's about this legally blind high school wrestler.
Oh shit!
It was actually, I love, apparently I love sports documentaries, and it's really good. I highly recommend it. The
You
guy's
love
name
sports documentaries. Ironically, you don't like sports.
weird, isn't it? I like the people in sports,
Yeah, you do.
I-
Like sports.
but
I hate this bar, but you know.
I love this drink. I like the human stories, but it's about this guy Anthony Ferraro. It's a cool documentary.
I mean, I feel like, I've had this discussion with a lot of people that aren't really into sports, but then they get into specific moments in sports. I think one of the things about sports is you get invested in the personalities behind, in football behind the helmet.
Yeah.
But there's always human drama. That's why so many sports movies that we watch.
Well, it's also too at the very you almost every person has had some experience in sports. You're watching a documentary about some astronauts. I've never flown a plane or any of that shit. But everybody's caught a ball before. You know what I mean? You have at least the most base connection with what's going on.
That's a good point.
But I mean, it's really interesting. It follows this kid in his senior year of high school and talking about how when you're legally blind, this is one of the few sports that you can participate in because your vision isn't really that necessary.
Well, that's true because you're so close.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rules about having to maintain contact. So when they ref it, people will try and cheat him by trying to break away, and he's just he's feeling around the ring, he doesn't know where anyone. So they have to bring people back in, but he could get seriously hurt or
And then
blindside him.
the other 80% of the documentary is him tripping over camera cables.
Yeah.
That is definitely a sport I know nothing about, like collegiate wrestling. Like,
No.
oh man,
But it's a cool documentary. And the guys, I only watched it because I end up following the guy on Instagram because he does all sorts of crazy shit. Like he can skateboard blind. Like he goes around like a skate park with his cane and like he can like grind rails. I'm like I can't fucking do that.
that's awesome.
I mean, my vision's
What's
crap.
this guy's name?
His name's Anthony Ferraro.
So he's like a daredevil.
Yeah, he's Daredevil. Look, he seems like a really good dude. And then the last thing I watch is something I'd watched before I realized, and which I think might be my favorite Wes Anderson movie, which is the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Well, you can only tell this to me because we're in a room of Wes Anderson haters. Which
The best Wes Anderson movie is
I Love Dogs.
a blank disc. I guess Isle of Dogs.
Did you see
But it's
Grand?
still too long.
Did you see Grand Budapest Hotel?
Nope.
Fuck
So-
no.
it's a great movie.
I do. I absolutely love that movie. Like I just like Ray Fiennes. So everyone's good, but Ray Fiennes, the lobby boy Zero. It's
Yeah.
Flash from Spider-Man.
yeah, he's great.
Oh well, now I'll watch it.
It's
He's really good.
It's Joe Manganiello.
Not that flat. I'm a big fan.
shoot, that was that movie. There's something about that movie, and I was watching. I hadn't watched it in a while, and I don't know if all Wes Anderson movies do this, and I don't know if I'm saying this correctly.
Go ahead.
But all the
Shots are
shots-
symmetrical.
Yes,
Well,
well,
not,
not symmetrical, but like everything like
I mean,
moves.
not in all of his movies, but in that movie specifically, I mean, he changes aspect ratio like between scenes.
But not even the symmetrical thing. Like all the action is either moving. It's all at 90 degrees. You're either moving right into the screen, right out of the screen,
Well, yeah,
dead left, dead right.
but that goes
Yeah.
again. That goes to like how he shot. Like again, the aspect ratio in the shots changes in that movie. But it's not all of his movies, but it's definitely something that is in that movie. Because again, the whole movie is supposed to be about that hotel, so everything is kind of in the confines of that hotel.
Correct.
It's a little like. Go ahead.
I can see why that would be interesting, but whenever a movie changes an aspect ratio, and usually it's by accident, and usually it seems to happen when parts of it are shot in 70 and parts aren't. Like it happens in Christopher Nolan movies a lot. Like
Yeah,
I get
well,
super distracted immediately. Like it's like I can't not notice it.
It works. I think it works in that movie because again, it's very
Intentional
I mean,
and
also, there's-
pretentious.
my favorite part of that movie is when I think it's Jeff Goldblum. He gets his door shut and his fingers
get sliced
fall
off.
off.
Yeah.
Like, but they fall off in like the funniest way possible. Like, I'm really mad I haven't seen The French Dispatch yet, and a good torrent hasn't showed up because that's like his new movie, and I hear it's really good.
Also, I think F. Murray Abraham looks like old Anthony.
I could totally see that. Also, F. Murray Abraham is still like the funniest actor name.
Also,
it just sounds,
F. Murray
it just
Abraham.
sounds like a guy that really doesn't like Murray Abraham.
Yep. But that's it. That's everything.
But that I think that's just me retreating back to my old Howard Stern days when like people used to just be like F Jackie, F whoever. It was like that was every caller used to just name a character on the show and be like F Crackhead Bob or whatever.
Hey, TJ, this has nothing to do with anything, but is the band Every Time I Die a good band?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I love a lot of their music. I don't really care for their new album, but yes, overall,
Okay.
why?
Just curious.
Because are you talking because
the one guy's the wrestler? Yeah.
Andy from Every Time I Die is the Blade in
Yeah.
AEW.
Yeah. That's what I was asking.
Were you thinking of buying their album? Or are you bi-curious?
I like a lot of their music, and also I've actually met I've talked to Andy. Like I was at a show at Rams Head Live, and he was like the nicest guy. He was so cool.
Heads up, we're sending Every Time I Die to your house to deliver yet another McFlurry.
Hell yeah.
He was so I'll never forget because he's like our age, and I remember he had a guitar in one of the guitar magazines, and it was like, you remember Paul Frank? You remember
With the monkey face? Yeah.
So he had this guitar made up that was the monkey and like a cartoon version of his face, and it said Best Friends. And he was at their merch table, and I was like, do you have the Paul Frank guitar here? He's like, yeah, you want to see it? I was like, fuck yeah, I want to see it. And I remember he showed it to me. He took me backstage, showed me the fucking guitar. And then he goes, you seem to be a guy that's into our old stuff. So when we say we're going to play some old school stuff, you're going to be upset. And I was like, dude, that's hilarious. He was, I don't know. They're like Mastodon. They're a band where It doesn't
Gotcha.
matter like what stuff they put out that I don't like. I like them overall so much it doesn't
They've got
matter.
enough gravitas.
Yeah, it doesn't. They've put out enough good stuff where it's like their new album is kind of meh, but overall I'm a big fan of them. I will see them if they come around here live. I will always go.
Well, that guy is very big.
He wasn't that big when I met him, but he's definitely huge now, and he is seems like a really genuinely nice person. So
he's like, this isn't the Paul Frank guitar. This is the Lisa Frank guitar. It just has a bunch of rainbows and shit on it.
He would probably have one of those too. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan. But anyway, I also like Wes Anderson movies, which I will defend to my dying day. I'm a huge fan of all of his.
He hasn't made a movie I didn't like. Pretentious fuck. That's why.
Well, yeah, but I don't even think his movies are that pretentious. I think they're in general. I think they're really sweet. I don't know. There's something about his movies that
they are artsy for artsy's sake.
But they're not
they're artsy for dummies. I think I've made this point a million times, but it's just a bunch of movies about rich kids whose parents don't hug them enough, and it's I got it the first 4 times.
I don't know. I think there's more to it than that. But I wouldn't even call his movies artsy. Artsy is he's not Alejandro Jodorowsky. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, I love him, so I don't know.
It's fine. Let's move on to our feature presentation. The most artsiest filmmaker, Zack Snyder. 300. Let's go.
Let's go.
I have to pee.
The most artsy.
I'm gonna sneak away while
Zach would probably agree.
Zack Snyder's shining achievement.
Yeah, visionary director Zack Snyder.
I'll pose a question to the room. Is Zack Snyder our dumbest filmmaker? Because I'm wondering about this movie, right? So before I guess we get into the plot, everyone knows the plot of 300. But
What's
before we
plot?
get into
it's just a beef wall.
Yeah,
it goes up against another beef wall.
Hold on, pause, Sean. We don't do this very often. Sean, you tell us what happened in this movie.
Oh, okay. It opens up with a guy narrating a story because that's the way it happened in a comic book. So he over-explains everything that's happening in the scene about throwing babies into pits to fight Jon Snow's dog. And then that baby grows up to be a king. The king finds out that there's brown people invading his country. He takes 300 dudes with him. He calls everybody gay. They make a wall out of 9 million corpses, and then he's killed by arrows.
Yeah, that's about right.
Is that about it?
Yeah. There's a little more back and forth and nuance to it, but yeah, that's effectively it. Yes,
you missed the killing of all the emissaries.
Right, lots of messengers get got. Lots of queens get de-queened. There's some interesting old lepers with an oracle doing God knows what.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just a big old.
Well, every time there's a woman in this movie, she's there as a rape device. It is there to be sexually assaulted in some way or another.
They're just objects in this movie. It's very
this movie doesn't have a lot of nuance.
It's not progressive.
No, and that's the thing. And I don't expect everything to be progressive. This isn't the 2021 thing, but my opinion on Frank Miller is very convoluted because if you go back and look at everything he wrote as satire, then he's a genius, right? It's the funniest shit ever. But is it serious? I think The Dark Knight Returns is not a satire, but I think The Dark Knight Strikes Again is trying to be and failing. I don't know if this is because reading interviews later with him, he understands that what the Spartans are not at all what he portrayed in the book.
Yeah.
But I understand again that it's a story and it's meant to be dramatic, but so many plot points are totally antithetical to what actually happened then. And I understand again it's a unreliable narrator, but the way that trope falls apart in this movie is the narrator is telling the story to other Spartans that not 100 years from now, a week later, and everybody goes along with it, even though it's us free men, when in reality the Spartans, for every soldier they had 3 slaves with them. And
but aren't the Spartans the ones that are, you're telling it 3 weeks later, they're the most susceptible to believing all this bullshit?
One in a year, it doesn't matter.
Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but-
like they're
well, yeah,
buying into this already.
Right,
Like,
but what
they're
I'm saying is it wasn't like, to Gog's point, it wasn't like, this is a story being told to 10 generations from now that had no idea.
Sure,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like, they would be like, bro, what happened? Where are their slaves? Like, what happened? Like, why didn't you bring your slaves? That's just stupid. You know what I mean? You're telling people that, like, are acutely aware of the goings on.
They should have done this. They should have done this movie just like the beginning of The Princess Bride, where Columbo is telling the story of the 300 to the kid from the Wonder Years.
Yeah, exactly. The framing device doesn't work as an unreliable narrator because he's telling the tale to people that were around for when it happened.
Dude, Spartan Peter Falk.
But the framing device by the end of the movie is supposed to inspire like hundreds and thousands of more Spartans to die in the same way. So it kind of works. Like,
it's propaganda
in the confines of its own narrative. Like, it doesn't work to the audience. I agree.
Structurally, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, from like a writing craft perspective, like, it doesn't work at all. But like, I guess my question is, like, is Frank Miller, like, I don't want to say he's like a fascist, but does he have fascist leanings, or is this satire, or both, or what? And question B, if it is satire, there's no way that Zack Snyder understands that, because he's a big idiot, as we've seen from his like interpretation of Watchmen. So, like, is Zack Snyder unintentionally making a like right-wing propaganda film?
Zack Snyder has. Go ahead, Garcia.
I'm going to say that Frank Miller is most likely, if not a fascist leaning.
Yeah. If Frank Miller was our age, he would be like a Reddit debate lord, like incel, right? Like 100%.
He'd be like Richard Spencer, but like with like better pens. But like the and to your second point, for the drawings of stuff.
I was like, I didn't get the.
But the you're into you're a comic guy.
Yeah.
You know pens.
Yeah,
I know pens. Yeah.
Chris Penn, Sean. The second point,
Sean Penn, big fan.
You should name all your pens after the Penn brothers. Both of them.
Well, just two. I only have 2 pens.
2 pens.
My best one would be Chris. Thank you very much.
Your big fat magic marker.
Yeah. The wrong pen died.
Amen. So then, to your second,
but Chris Penn did.
Yeah. Shit.
And Sean sucks.
Yeah.
Hey, this is off topic. You want to cringe your fucking eyeballs out?
Watch Milk.
No, well, yeah, but Google Sean Penn, Chris Rock. There's this weird, like, short film that they made where, like, Sean Penn is, like, the hyper liberal, and Kid Rock is Kid Rock, and he's like, they're like, oh, you're a fucking Obama loving, blah blah blah, and then like Sean Penn's like, oh, you're a redneck racist, blah blah blah. But then the news of Benghazi comes out, and they like have a cry, and they're like, America's great. It's like the cringiest shit I've ever
seen. Did anybody know anything about Benghazi prior to the election? Like, I don't even recall hearing that story on the news.
I still want somebody's rap name to be Benghazi.
Yeah. But to your second point, Sean.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
There's no way that Zack Snyder is smart enough to turn this into. He made so. And when we were watching the movie, I was asking, I was like, is what's bad about this movie like kind of the way that The Matrix has been appropriated by like Proud Boys and 3%ers, like all.
I'm gonna say it's not, because like The Matrix was not intentionally that way. It was appropriated. This movie is intentionally pro-eugenics. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's not subtle about it at all.
Well, no, it opens with a eugenics scene.
Yeah,
like it's not. And Zack Snyder lacks any sense of making his. This is not Paul Verhoeven Starship Troopers.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was like a point I wanted to make about like if this is supposed to be satire. Also, like Zack Snyder isn't sure what's gay or not. So like, and I know this has something to do with the book too. Although I haven't read that comic book since probably 5 years before the movie came out, and I haven't seen the movie almost since it came out. But like. So Xerxes is coded super gay, and when they go to his Crow City of Angels fuck palace, everything that's going on there is super gay, so that's bad. But everything the Spartans do is somehow even gayer, but that's masculine because they're white. I don't know. I don't know how he doesn't like see, and also like the Spartans were like huge pederasts, like everybody else in Greece was. You know what I mean? Like that was just
they're being gay. They're being gay to the death, and there's honor there.
Yeah,
like
the Xerxes people want to fuck each other, whereas the Spartans want to just fuck death.
Yeah, it's cowardice.
Because you know how straight dudes hang out and share apples amongst each other. And is there anything gayer than going into battle with no clothes but a cape so long that you have to step over it?
Well, in the true sense, I'm pretty sure they were nude when they went into battle.
No, they wore armor.
Oh, damn.
They wore like full ass armor. They were naked like in like Olympics and like shit like that. But when they went to battle, no, they wore like
wrestling each other.
Hell yeah, you're gonna want the oil.
Oh yeah,
Lance, you were trying to oil me up, and that's not really cool.
So it was slaps, right?
It's not boring.
It is so much fun. Like, I agree. It's funny because I agree with everything Sean said, but I was like completely entertained the entire time.
100%.
I mean, it's Chinatown compared to every other movie he's made. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's even arguable. But again, like his two best movies are probably this and Watchmen, I guess, and both of them rely on source material by two of like the greatest authors in the medium. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also I think like, and we talked about this, Alec and Gogs and I talked about this while we were watching the movie, but like his ramp up and slow down, which became, his signature in this movie, it works.
Yeah,
because it feels like appropriate and it feels creative.
Well, there's a scene where I think Leonidas is running with the helmet on, and they do that kind of whip pan speed ramp, and I'm pro speed ramp all the way. Like even to this day, like I'm pro speed ramp. But like it looks like the cover of the hardcover of 300 with the cape flowing. It's a great shot.
And they're doing like push-ins, and they're doing different shit which he stopped doing. Like I think I don't know. As I was again, like it's so hard to watch this movie because like I can't watch this movie in a vacuum. I watch this movie with the foreknowledge of what he became. Yeah, and like it's like. I feel like watching this movie, it's like, oh, this shit is like really creative. Like this is interesting. Like he never grew out of this movie.
Sounds insane if you don't know the rest of his career, but this is a very restrained and contemplative Zack Snyder as far as filming goes.
It's even like for like for the fact he would never mind. So to your point, Sean. He's feeling himself out yet, and he doesn't have all of the. There it is. He doesn't have all of the like. He isn't. He's not up his own ass yet because he's trying stuff with. Wow, it's like over the top and grandiose. You're right. There's like some art and some restraint and some. I won't call it nuance. It's like he fell into nuance in some areas. But then later he took the stuff that worked in this because everybody praised him for it. And to TJ's point, he just battered that home.
Can't get any more blood out of this rock. No, I think
you guys like speed ramps.
We'll put all the speed ramps in the world.
We're gonna speed ramp the credits.
I think TJ might have a better handle on this, but I think part of the reason that works in this is because, like, if I remember right, the 300 graphic novel has like almost no background. It's like very sparse and open, so like it kind of lends it to what he's doing.
And it's only like 30 pages long.
Yeah, Alec brought this up while we were watching.
That is like it's like a comic.
Yeah. It's very short. Like all the stuff they add with Lena Headey and all that, that's all added.
All the most boringest parts.
That part is not. The comic is really just the fight. Like it is 3 issues. I think it's 3 issues. It's very short of just the fight. Like it is very, very short. Now. And I will, again, I'm not going to tell you I'm not a Frank Miller mark because I am. Frank Miller is like one of my biggest artistic influences in my entire life.
Oh, I really like most of his work up until like Holy Terror or whatever. Even I have like some affection for Dark Knight Strikes Back, and his Daredevil is like some of my favorite shit ever. But
his Daredevil is like perfect. But like I will say that like when he was drawing 300, like artistically, he was still like really on top of his game. And like, I think this movie benefits, as Sean said earlier, like this movie benefits because Frank Miller is such a good writer. And I would agree with that. But I also think like visually it helps because like Frank Miller's weird fascination with like piercings and like how the Persians look in this movie. That's all how he drew them.
Yeah, man, that guy does love a piercing.
Like
He does.
Frank Miller draws like 8,000 piercings and all those weird like face mask kind of things that they do
with the super dark eyes, the hard 90s.
That's the part of the unreliable narrator shit that like I think works because he's telling the story about these monstrous men
it's
they
a
fought.
fantasy.
Like, but what I'm saying is like you can't do that and then also be like, oh yeah, and we didn't have any slaves, and there were only like 8 guys from Athens with us, even though there were like several thousand, and like you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of shit. Yeah,
you're right, but I also think like this movie is a movie for dum-dums, so it like they don't. This movie, like I don't honestly, dude, I don't think that this movie is meant to be. You're not meant to think about this movie for more than about 4 seconds.
This is world history on nitrous.
Yeah, this is not like like there is no thought into making this like accurate. This is like
I think that's the issue though, because like if you just said this is a story about King Stalmanopoulos or whatever in Greece, it's like okay, but you by like you know patterning it after something that actually happened, you're making me like you know think about the things that actually happened, and then it makes it like at least for me like I find it super distracting.
Well, you're right. I mean, like we all talked about it like over here all like Xerxes actually like brought about like a renaissance in that era. Like he brought about like cities and libraries and like literacy and
the Spartans actually allied with the Persians to fight the Athenians. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of
But it doesn't
also,
make a great movie.
Did you know that the Spartans had 2 kings all the time? So just in case one was off fighting, the other one would be ruling the country. So you wouldn't have any of that like goofball political intrigue that's in this movie.
I didn't know that.
Oh, man, imagine being the pansy king who got left behind.
The vice king.
That's the king I want to be. It's like being the fucking backup punter.
That's like Joe Biden. Am I right?
Yeah,
let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, he's getting his level checked out.
He's back in Sparta raising gas prices personally.
Yeah, right. Oh my god.
What do you think inflation was like in Sparta under the Leonidas era? I bet it was none.
I don't think they invented inflation.
No, you know why? Free people.
Oh shit.
They're too busy throating children to worry about economics.
They had their Xerxes books.
See, now that's now, if you're pro-choice and your choice is to yeet the kid into the cavern or not, that's pro-choice.
Which also apparently didn't happen like ever, but
of course
it's good for a story. You know who loved the story of Thermopylae and the 300? Hitler. Like apparently he was a humongous fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, he loved all that shit. He liked all the fucking Norse shit as well.
Made the trains run on time.
That was Mussolini, but
yeah, but you know they were friends.
They were friends. I don't know. What else do we have to say about this movie, Alec? What do you got to say about this movie?
Yeah.
Do you think Frank Miller's the fascist?
I honestly don't know enough about Frank Miller to say that, but I agree with Sean because he's way smarter than me. So yeah,
I'll stop it.
Is he?
Oh,
nah, I wouldn't say
he's
so.
Way smaller than you.
If I don't understand memes you guys post, I assume you're smarter than me.
No, oh God, no. Me and Sean swim in deep water.
It just means you're not like a fucking like just degenerate if you don't get the memes.
You're not. You actually have a life, and you're not criminally online like me and Sean.
You're not home like plotting to murder Steven Crowder. Like,
I send Sean videos that literally like 40 people are like, "Yeah, that's fucked up." Like,
yeah, this movie like it spawned a generation of people running through mud and thinking that they're.
Oh, is this responsible for the Tough Mudder thing? Is that how that came up?
Well, they have like the actual like Spartan race or Spartan thing now, and it's the logo for it is literally Leonardo's. That's a fucking better movie. If Leonardo shows up in this.
Hell yeah, he's the leader.
Xerxes comes out of his hut for the first time, and it's Leonardo.
Become part of that menagerie.
Yeah, they literally have like races like not triathlons.
No, they
But
do
it's
dumb
almost-
shit.
It is kind of like a Tough Mudder, I think.
You carry a log.
Yeah, shit
You
like
jump
that. They
a
call
wall.
like the Spartan games, and it's like the
Oh god.
aggro meathead douchebags that you would think do it.
You punch an immigrant.
Oh yeah,
You
they like
get-
come to work the next Monday, like all sore, like, oh bro, you wouldn't believe it, like that kind of thing.
You'd be
Yeah,
like, bitch, well, I was working all weekend.
like
Yeah.
adult paintball enthusiasts.
Ugh. Also, can anybody see Xerxes in this movie without thinking of South Park? Because like that's been ruined for me forever.
Oh, with the scissors.
Yeah.
I just think of Love Actually whenever I see him.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It still
Yeah.
blows my mind that the guy that plays Xerxes is like a 5'6" like Spanish guy.
Well, I
Very
forget.
handsome,
Oh,
yeah.
he's handsome.
very handsome with delicate features, man.
You can tell he's handsome in this movie.
I forget that Fassbender was in this movie. I was like, oh,
We all did that.
Yeah.
We all did that.
When
Yeah.
he showed up, I was like, holy shit.
This was the first Fassbender movie I remember. Like I never saw him in anything else before this.
And he's outstanding.
He's really
Yeah.
good in this. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Like
can
I
tell
don't think
he's
there's any bad well the senator guy's a little arch, but I guess the whole movie's kind of arch. I think Gerard Butler's like a lot of fun in the movie. Like
Gerard Butler's great in it.
yeah.
Dominic. You're talking about Dominic
West.
Cooper or
West.
Dominic West? Yeah, Dominic
Yeah.
Cooper. Feature. You know who I like, and it's the guy that played. It's the guy that played Night Owl in Watchmen. Like I like that guy a lot.
Patrick Wilson?
Is that his? No. The
Night
the
Owl
guy-
one.
the old-
Oh, you're talking
the
about
old Night Owl.
Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Did you say Abe Lincoln?
I said
Abe
he
Lincoln.
looked like swole Lincoln in this movie. No, I like
His-
that actor though. I
His
can't
beard
think
was so real that it looked fake. You know what I mean? I was
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
but
even
like
the senators are swole in this movie.
this movie, like is I don't know, like well, you were talking about the speed ramps. I have to bring this up. There's so much slow motion in this movie that like would look way cooler if it was just in regular motion, and then a couple speed ramps. But like some of the slow motion makes the sword shit look really bad. But it's just like here and there. But like there's always that great shot of all the arrows coming in. Like there's a lot
Yeah,
of
that looks
iconic
awesome.
shit in this movie. You know what I mean? Like
There's all those quotable lines. Like there's so many
Yeah.
lines that you just hear repeated.
Well, like this movie spawned like a million spoofs.
Yeah.
And like every
Yeah.
other. But this is almost like to the level of The Matrix.
like the most
Like,
famous.
other shit it spawned
What's-
off in worse comedies and worse other movies.
Well, the other thing
Yeah,
I think that
what's the
that's
most
kind of
famous
forgotten
line from this movie? The what is it? It's fucking why don't you
Is it
finish with
Sparta?
your mouth what you started with your fingers, which is like the most cringe thing I've ever heard in my life.
I don't even
I don't
remember
even
that
remember
line.
that one.
Yeah,
The
well,
little
you have-
Godfrey says he doesn't either.
that's right before you get to see her tits. How can you not remember that?
Oh, but wait. Was that between Circe and Leonidas?
Yeah,
We checked
yeah.
out all the scenes that weren't.
Right.
Right,
Right.
exactly. Yeah,
Also, Lena Headley is high in the Sean wheelhouse, I'd imagine, right?
100%.
Nailed it. Yeah, no,
A hot take. My favorite, like not favorite, but like most fuckable Lena Headley, Dread.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Mama
I-
play.
And for what it's worth, I think Lena Headley is really good in this movie
She
too.
is.
Yeah, the part sucks though.
The part's not great, but she's good in it. Like,
Yeah.
and it's funny because something that I want to touch on before we get into like our final judgments or whatever. But so Gogs put on the poverty disc for this movie
Ooh.
because we were having problems with the Plex.
Yeah, so was I. I rented it on Amazon.
I don't know what's going on with my Plex. I don't know what. I'm sorry about that, but
Probably
Anyway,
the FBI.
probably yeah. But anyway, so we had to watch the DVD, and we were forced to watch a bunch of trailers, and they were hilarious. One of them was for the PSP 300 game, which looks absolutely
Wait,
terrible.
did you guys ever play the cell phone mobile game for 300? Because that shit was awesome. Like you just moved
No,
the phalanx
no.
around everywhere. Oh no, that was sick.
I know. It looked the PSP game looked really bad, but it was just threw me back. Like the whole thing that like made me feel super old. And I was like, when we were watching this movie, I was like, oh, Lena Headley was in this before Game of Thrones. Like this was probably a big reason she got Cersei.
Bro,
in
this movie
Game
came
of
out in
Thrones.
2006.
I
Yeah.
know, it's crazy.
This movie can almost drive.
It's fucking nuts, but she's really good in it. I thought I really like her in general, but I thought she was good in this movie. And Sean's right, the part is not great, but I felt like she elevated the part.
Like this movie, like I would flat out love this movie if it didn't have any of the scenes that weren't just them out in the field fighting. You know what I mean? Because that's like I could give a fuck about anything else that's going on. And
like straight the comic book. You literally just want the comic book.
Yeah, I don't need the Oracle getting licked and shit. Like what? Okay,
you don't need it. But you're glad to have it.
Yeah, also, like, we want to talk about Zack Snyder's visual flair. Like, the scene with the Oracle is cool because she's, like, shot underwater, so she looks weird. Like, that was fun. Like,
there's a really good shot. Like, it's not, like, a big part of the movie, but when the emissary, like, he shoots it almost laying down, so the guy looks like he's 100 feet tall, like, standing over the second emissary, not the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of like interesting camera moves in this. There's even like a faux wipe where it's kind of like a whip pan that goes from like the palace to the Leonidas out in the field, but it's a slow kind of drag across the screen. It was interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what this guy ended up making, and then you watch his movies and you're like, oh shit.
This is gonna be a promising young director.
Well, I honestly,
that's how he got the visionary director fucking tag was from this.
Snyder,
yeah.
Well, even back then, he directed Dawn of the Dead, which then we all loved.
Yeah.
And then this, and then I think Watchmen was next. There was the Owl movie.
Well,
I think it was Man of Steel.
No, Man of Steel was after.
Watchmen was like 2009.
I remember when he got announced to do, I guess it was Watchmen, I was really excited. And then it was like, oh.
Well, I thought that trailer fucking ruled. Like, because it was just like the comedian getting thrown out the window and like, not all this shit leading up to it.
Please, guys, type more. That doesn't get picked up by the mic.
It won't.
It totally does.
Who's Zach Schnitzer?
SNY.
Oh my god. God just Googled in IMDb who is Zach Schnitzer.
Schneider. While Gogs is doing his homework over there, like, serious question though, is Zack Snyder aware how homoerotic this movie is or not?
No.
Like, he's not, right?
I don't think Zack Snyder has any awareness beyond surface level of any of his films.
I mean,
right, but my thing is, like, this is very surface level gay, point blank, you know what I mean?
I would bet he directed this, not realizing it, and then when it was, like, in the can and done, watched it and been like, oh no. And
it's like, no, don't worry about it.
This shit's going out now.
So did he see it? Did he see it in the can? And then he had to direct that sex scene between Gerard Buttcheeks and Cersei, where it's like totally unnecessary. But he's like, we gotta fucking straighten this movie up a little bit.
Gerard, get back over here.
Yeah.
We got one more scene.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love seeing Lena Headey's boobs, but like, that scene is so unneeded. Like, completely. It's like, why is it even in there?
One of the hot gates.
Oh yeah, he's definitely in the hot gates.
Isn't there a porn actress named Hot Gates?
There is to be, and she needs to be Greek.
Mm. But oh no, never mind. That was in The Dark Knight Strikes Again that there was a porno actress named Hot Gates. That tracks actually. But yeah, like it's just so funny that, like, again, the villains are portrayed as gay and bad, but the heroes are all like even gayer, but he doesn't realize it. Like, I it blows my mind. Like, what?
They're not effeminate gay. They're
right.
Gay.
Yeah. That's true.
Like, Xerxes is like gay.
Yeah, they're log cabin Republicans. Like, they're we don't bang boys, we bang men.
Yeah, like, how do we communicate that Xerxes is gay? Like, I don't know, put so much jewelry on him, it sounds like the front porch of a Wiccan bookstore when the wind blows. Like, it's fucking, he's so jangly. That part is great. Like, that guy kills it in that part.
He does a really good job. Yeah, I have to say, like, that actor does a great job. Also, the scene where he's introduced, which actually, again, fuck physical media because Gogs' DVD crapped out on us, but, like, that scene where his, like, help me out, his throne
shows up.
And it's like, carried by like 40
1,000
people.
men. Yeah,
It looks like the God Emperor of Dune.
I mean, it looks awesome. That
Yeah.
that is such a, and again, that thank you Frank Miller, because that's right from the comics. Like that's a great visual. Like
Well,
that looks.
it's also
amazing.
like it's not for nothing. It's pretty amazing that he's able to shoot that scene with that guy looking like he's 8 or 9 feet tall, and it doesn't look goofy. You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't. I would say that most of the visual effects in this movie really work. Like there's a lot of.
I meant to bring it up. I'm sorry earlier. Zack Snyder's penchant for having CG animals that look terrible. When
the wolf looks really dumb,
and the fucking rhinoceros.
But I thought that a field tease or whatever, the mutant guy, I thought he looked really good.
Not John.
Well,
Lake
that's
was
practical, right?
Yeah, but
that's
like
makeup,
great. And like again, like they did a great job duplicating.
Dude, that guy was jacked, by the way.
Yeah,
yeah, but they did a great job like duplicating Frank Miller's drawing, because even his helmet is stuck on his head the way Frank Miller drew it, which physically doesn't kind of work, but like in the drawing it worked. You know what I mean? Because like the helmet is like perfectly situated between his head and his neck, but like that wouldn't situate itself like that. Like, you know what I mean? Think about it.
the dude worked out his hump.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Alec knows what I mean.
I got you.
I don't.
Gogs doesn't understand physics.
I don't understand anatomy. I don't understand a lot of things.
That is true. I've seen your body.
It's weird.
He assembled it himself.
Yeah.
Gogs exists.
I showed up in a box and I threw away the instructions.
It's my friend Mr. McGregg.
What the hell is Lake Grill?
All right, let's get into Five Knuckle Shuffles. I guess
This will be interesting.
I'm really excited to hear this. Well, Sean.
7, I guess.
That's higher than I expected. All right, yeah.
I thought you could be sub 5.
Well, no, but like emotionally, I hate this movie. You know what I mean? Like, I hate everything about it, and
It's
like
an abusive spouse.
this is it's a separate the art from the artist, even though like the art and the artist are both kind of involved in this. Like, if I recall, like the book, because it's mostly the fights, the book is somehow less like right leaning and fascist than the movie is, because it had to add all that shit in it. And I don't remember, and again, you guys would be able to correct me, like the weird queer panic in the book that there is in the movie.
I don't remember it in the comic as much.
Like, I don't think they have as much time to get into it.
Yeah.
But like it's not boring. It's the least Zack Snyder-y of all of his movies. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's a thing where somebody was over top of him, like, no, calm down, no, bring it back, or it was a function of money, or what it was. But like, again, this sounds insane. It's a very like low key Zack Snyder movie, and the garish color timing in it kind of works in a way that it doesn't work in things, I guess, because it's like all in old timey days, and it's like I don't really know what that looks like, but I know what a city street looks like. So when you fuck the color timing all up, it's like distracting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes total sense, because that's what I was looking at the whole time. It kind of works. Like, everything is like on a green screen and sandy and weird. So it's like, yeah, whatever. Like, do whatever you want.
It's also
like,
the story. It's a story being told, so it wants to have this fantasy, non-realistic. It's got this unrealism to it.
I do have a nostalgia for this movie and Sin City, even though they're like a couple years apart, but still like within the same kind of era. Because it's like, oh, weird Dark Horse comic books, they're being made into movies. That's fun. Like, I like that.
I really think that Sin City is going to be my birthday pick, because I'm dying to rewatch that movie with the lens of the show. I got to know what that is.
But like I can't like sign off on anything Frank Miller says or does, even though I do enjoy his work.
He's softened up a lot recently.
He's also a million years old and he's almost dead. And Neil Adams, I think, threatened to beat him up or something. Like, if I recall, basically, go fuck yourself. Come talk to me when you're not a piece of shit.
That is all correct. Yeah.
But like it's definitely like a time capsule. It's a piece unto itself, and it is leagues better than most of the comic book adaptations we get now, because at least it's doing something, you know, like Yeah, it's like a 7. I just like I can't. The messaging of the movie is a problem, and like honestly, it was a problem back then too. It's just like I was still old enough that I should not have thought like this was like cool. Oh, like those guys are awesome, but like as kind of like an artifact, I think I really like it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put
I
it.
have very mixed emotions about the movie, but I'm gonna give it like a 7 as just a purely watching experience, especially in comparison to every other movie he's made that we've had to watch.
Agreed.
It doesn't feel like because the movie's almost 2 hours, right? Like it's like an hour 51. It doesn't
moves.
feel that long.
No.
Alec.
It's also a 7 for me. I didn't enjoy it as much as these two, but I still liked it.
These two idiots.
Yeah, these two
You guys
sigmas.
are idiots.
These two cucks. Is that people still say cuck?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's
good.
Very popular.
I mean, I do. I call my kids every day.
You call your kids
Oh,
a
you
cuck.
had-
Well, it's back and forth.
Is that what AJ was trying to scream at
Yeah,
you
yeah.
earlier?
Yeah, I'm a teacher.
We couldn't understand him.
Oh, wait.
You're a chicken cook.
No, this movie it was fun and like it's kind of surprising. Like I think everybody else has already said it's fun to see a restrained quote unquote.
Big air quotes.
I
Oh, yeah.
feel like I'm reading some of like the trivia about the movie right now, and apparently, I think I brought this up on about a different movie, but maybe it was about referring to him about this one. Like it was talking about Dawn of the Dead. Like he shot this movie chronologically.
Yeah, you said that about Dawn of the Dead. I found it like
But he did
fucking
that about
incredible.
He did that with Dawn of the Dead because apparently he didn't know any better.
Yeah,
That's how movies.
Well, but at this
were
point, he
made.
just made music videos. You can't shoot a music video out of
But he
sequence.
made Dawn of the Dead that way, and then he made this that way too. So I guess that maybe that's part of his.
Gogs. You can shoot a music video out of sequence. Do you think they're playing the song live when they're shooting it?
Backwards, Sean, unless you're doing it.
I'll bring that up.
Unless it's the Far Side, and even then,
Budget
what's
was
the
like
budget?
30, right?
Oh, this movie.
There are 1,532 cuts in this movie.
Jesus
That makes a
Christ.
lot of sense.
How many minutes is this movie?
Even at 120,
110 minutes. That's like 100 cuts per minute.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, this movie made like I don't have. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The action is fun. Gerard Butler is good. Michael Fassbender is great. Apparently, this was his movie debut. Was this? Lena Headey's good. Like pretty much everybody's. Jesus, what?
Yeah, this was.
I don't like that.
This was.
I don't like that at all.
This was an enormous hit, by the way. This was like
Almost a 10-time multiplier.
This movie cost $65 million and made $456 million.
Yeah, it made like all the money in the world that year. Like it was crazy.
you could buy 10 Nostromos for what this movie made.
Yeah, but that's in $1984.
That's crazy how much money this movie made.
This, you know what this movie? I just thought of it. Zack Snyder reminds me of. You guys watched Mr. Show when that was on, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the sketch where it was the band that didn't realize they were gay? And it's like, hey, here's a video of you partying last night, and it's them all fucking, and they're like, yeah, we're awesome. And it's like they take the video out and put it back in. Like, this is a gay porn. I was like, ew, get it off the screen.
It's the same video.
Yeah.
So Alec, who you pass the mic to?
Gogs.
9?
Oh, god damn.
I really still like this movie a lot. And
That explains that haircut.
Yeah, well, gotta keep it fashion. It does explain my ab situation, though.
Keep it fat.
The fashion stands for fashion. Yeah, like I was telling TJ and I was like, I'm sitting here watching this for flaws, and I was dreading watching this, like, because I was like, Zack Snyder has proven to us time and time again that even things we thought we liked that he did, we didn't like. But I went through this and I was like, I'm still having a ton of fun. I know, like, I hate the fact that it's been hijacked. It's not even been hijacked. It's just, I guess the correct audience that it was made for found it and embraced every last little bit of it and turned it into like political propaganda. But as far as like a visually like striking, like fun action movie, I loved it. I love Gerard Butler in it. I like all the action sequences, like that tracking shot where they're doing the speed ramps and the slowdowns, just following Leonidas, and it follows him throwing the spear and then comes back. That's a cool shot. Even the ending shot where it's him dead on the ground, it pulls back and looks like a fresco of all the dead Spartans. Like, that's a cool shot. There's some visually really interesting things in this movie. And it's like his most artistic and like it's just and restrained, as we keep saying. But then he just like he took this and he just never evolved. Like he devolved after this. Like he never got better than this. No, he never got better than this.
Look at it and look at the money it made and the praise he got from it.
Why would you want to get better?
Why would you want to even change?
No.
Yeah.
Like people like us are like, man, he's just stuck in the same old thing. But every movie he makes with this same formula makes $1 billion.
Yeah. I'm stuck in a large vault full of gold.
He'll make more money than all of us combined for his entire easily.
He has.
Yeah, but I got a lot less dead kids than he does, so.
Damn, take that.
Sucker Punch was kind of a failure. But even that made after you do advertising.
Google Zack Snyder net worth.
Yeah.
No thanks.
That's what ultimately matters.
Yeah, Google that. It's probably like $30 million at least, probably more.
Let's do his total box office.
Dude, net worth. I don't care what his box office is because he makes money regardless of what.
It's just gonna be that gif of him snapping necks.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What's his
Snyder's, 60 million.
Yeah, $60
he's doing all right.
million. He's doing okay.
He's doing okay.
He's doing all right, and it's not like he's retired.
No.
And now he's making all those Netflix movies. He's probably made even more. 20 million movie
$60
to direct all those
million
because of all those other movies that come out. Because he's got a Planet of the Dead movie coming out.
Oh my god!
Like a TV
Does he have
show.
a cartoon like that's gonna tie it all together?
He's got all kinds of stuff. He's probably getting made like $20 million a pop for that stuff.
Yeah, because they'll give you money for nothing.
Whatever, they don't fucking care.
They don't care at all.
They'll just take out more loans.
They did cancel the Cowboy Bebop show, which is hilarious.
All right, well, that's me. TJ.
I just want to throw out there, if the actress that played Faye in Cowboy Bebop is lonely and feels bad, she can always cry on my shoulder.
She won't call you.
Why not? Come on.
Before you give your score,
yes.
If you give it a 9, it's a certified good-ass movie.
I'm not giving it a 9. I can't do that in good conscience. I'm giving it an 8. It's an 8 for me, dog. I still really enjoy this movie. I went into this movie with full intentions of hating it, like, completely. And it's funny because I recognize and agree with all of the complaints Sean has with this movie, but I also think this movie is just dumb as fuck and just fun as hell. Like, I agree, it is very problematic. I would never say that it isn't.
Yeah, I'm sorry I did a cultural Marxism on the show.
No, don't base your whole personality on this film.
But the thing is, like, if you go by all that shit, like, all the Sigma male stuff is all problematic because, like, you know, Patrick Bateman is he's always in those Sigma male things. It's like, well, nobody understood that book or movie if, like, Patrick Bateman is a Sigma male. But
you're my lawyer, so you should know I've posted a lot of cringe.
That was one of my favorite memes. But yeah, I love that. But this movie is a blast. First of all, like I think Sean said a little bit ago, it flies by. It is over. It feels like this movie is a half an hour long. The action set pieces are fun. All of the like rah, like we're gonna kill these dudes and we're gonna like have a big dick about it is awesome.
Yeah, just all the grunting. The what is your profession?
So cool, though, like, yeah, but like Gog said earlier, like it's so quotable. Like we'll fight in the shade.
Yeah,
we'll fucking. It's not your hand anymore. Like all that.
You don't know
shit,
our
like,
women.
It's fucking badass. It's like even the rape scene has a.
But that's all Frank Miller.
Yeah, I know, but it's still in the movie.
No, I know.
Like,
yeah.
It's still like it's dumb as fuck, but it's like fuck yeah! Like this is this is a movie for guys that like moving. Like, let the women go fucking have their periods and fucking like the men will watch this movie and be men.
Yeah, it's Sparta where men were men and the women were also men, to paraphrase Gogs.
We're gonna watch. We're gonna
eat barbecue and drink whiskey and watch this movie and smoke and die of tuberculosis and be men.
We're gonna have a Dr. Pepper Zero because that's not for ladies.
Oh, I forgot about that. When Dr.
That
Pepper
shit's
was
good, though.
It's Dr. Pepper 10.
Yeah.
Because the regular Dr. Pepper's for bitches.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I love this movie. It's fucking dumb as shit.
You're having a Diet Coke while you're getting your purse resurfaced. I'm gonna have
anything like talking and again like this. I knew this was going to happen, but most of this conversation is about what has become of Zack Snyder. I wish his movies maintained the level of just stupidity that this movie had.
Well, they're still stupid, but now they're you know what it is that this movie isn't, weirdly enough, is
3 hours
grim.
long.
Well, it's not like super grim. You know what I mean? Even though it's like violent, but it's still like got levity and like it's not like a emo, mopey, grim, dark movie.
Well,
I think
even at the end of the movie, it ends on an uplifting note because he's inspired all these Greeks to fight. So it's like it has a hopeful ending.
It's the same ending of Braveheart.
Yeah, he inspired all those kids to go blow up a mosque like in fucking 4chan.
Well, that was right in the beginning of Dawn of the Dead too. But anyway, I love this movie. It is problematic as all. It's my problematic fave as kids like. But I do enjoy it quite a bit. I was ready to hate it, but I can't. I love it too much. And Gerard Butler has never been better. Like, he kind of sucks now. Now he's just in like Atlas Falls Down or whatever. Apollo.
I don't know if I ever said this before, but every time I think like, oh, I like Gerard Butler, I'm actually thinking of Clive Owen.
Yeah, Clive Owen's great.
Yeah,
not in Valerium, but in general, he's very good.
How have we not done Shoot 'Em Up?
That's an awesome movie. All right, so are we going back
Final
to
Destination 3?
So next week is Final Destination.
And then the Moleys. So we're going to get through 2 Final Destinations.
And then the Moleys. This is going to be a tough year for the Moleys, I feel like.
Oh, I went and I did my 2021. Like, I listed all the movies from 2021 I watched.
Yeah.
It's bad.
I got to cram. Yeah.
There's more than last year, though.
No, I'm just talking about there's a plenty of movies.
No, he's talking
about like the quality
he's talking
of
about 2021 new movies.
2021
new
movies.
2020, there were way less releases.
Yeah,
because there was like 6 months where nothing came out.
Does anybody? Do you have the Moleys, like the categories from last year?
I'm trying to think of what my favorite movie was last year.
Find them. Send them out.
I might still have it written down somewhere at home.
I mean, like, no spoilers, unless Titane is that much better. Dune's going to be my number one movie.
Yeah.
Like, we could just skip to that part.
Titane's going to win.
Yeah.
You think so?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to go Dune, but Titane's in my top 3.
Yeah.
It's that. Yeah.
I feel like we watched quite a few 2021 movies this year on the show. Usually we don't do a lot of current year shows.
Yeah, that's true.
But, like, yeah.
Most are not good.
So next week, Final Destination 3, which is
so we're going to get out of this month with only 2 Final Destination movies. Hell yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
We did it.
All right, everybody. That's the 300th episode. Hey, guys, what is your profession?
Let's go home and share an apple.
Yeah, let's go eat an apple. Is that what they ate out there as apples?
I'm going to take a bite.
And ass.
They didn't bring any food.
They didn't have, like, eat ass.
They're going to eat some of that horse meat.
Bro, those guys don't eat.
Yeah,
they're too shredded. Yeah,
they got to stay shredded. Yeah, they got they're keto all day, every day.
Oh, real quick, like we talked about this when we were watching the movie, but like they wouldn't all be shredded like that. They would all look like 50s strong men. They'd all be doughy. Like they don't have like
penny farthings.
Yeah, they didn't know what fucking real exercise was.
Yeah, unless they were starving. Like I assume they ate pretty well. They'd be like it's like muscular, but not like fucking like shredded.
They looked like The Rock when he was in WWE.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not
he'd be heavily padded too.
That's not unintentionally gay enough for Zack Snyder.
That's true.
He should have airbrushed on their abs.
Dude, it's too bad that this came out before The Rock was a famous actor, because he would have been great in this movie.
Yeah.
And then he could have put his rap song at the end of the fucking trailer.
Oh yeah, the score in this movie is brutal.
It's about drive. It's about power.
The Rock could have been Xerxes. And then I'd be like,
Yes!
go Persia.
Yes. Oh, that'd have been great. You can't have The Rock as the villain. Well,
Just giving that eyebrow.
Do you think The Rock would allow himself to be queered up that way?
No,
No.
but then the Persians
well,
would be...
time out. He was queered up in the whole 9 Yards sequel.
No, he didn't Get Shorty
wasn't
sequel.
that Get Shorty sequel.
Get Shorty.
Not-
But that was
Yeah.
before he was like The Rock.
Yeah.
Was it Be Cool?
Be Cool, yeah. He was good in that.
Yeah.
He was also the villain in Doom. Because remember, like, he looked at the camera and go, I can't die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then.
Okay.
All right, everybody.
We did it.
Eat your own ass.
Yeah.
Let's see if we-
How was your Blizzard?
It was very good, thank you. And now my stomach hurts and I got a shit. And I think that was more calories than like everything I eaten prior. Yeah. But no, it was good.
You got a diarrhea, everything out.
It was very sweet. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It was sweet
All right.
both literally and figuratively.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Ladder.
See you.
Out of it.
Later, boys.